Ben, very nice to meet you.
You too, Lee. Thanks for having me.
You're often described as Ash Barty's mindset coach. What is a mindset coach?
Kaya helps people with their mindset on the field in a professional sense, but also their perspective off the field in a personal sense. And try and get that balance between, I guess, achievement and fulfillment, or confidence and happiness. And a lot of it is kind of separating the person from the persona.
Success is usually seen as, winning the Grand Slam, winning the title, winning the Grand Final, and so on. How do you view it?
Well, that's such a good question. Yeah. Well, absolutely. You still want to have these goals and dreams, and they could be extrinsic goals and dreams, winning a grand final or winning Wimbledon and so forth. And you want to go after those goals and dreams as hard as you can with whatever given gifts you've been given on this planet, right? But you don't attach your self-worth to whether you achieve those goals and dreams, because there's so many things outside of your control. So when you can redefine success from more an intrinsic point of view, as say Ash has actually done, where it's more about getting out of your comfort zone or realising your potential or helping others or being part of a team or finding purpose and meaning in your efforts. When you focus on those little things, you can control those 100%. There's so many things outside of your work that you can't control. So when you can start to get that balance between defining success from an intrinsic point of view, whether you get there or not is irrelevant, right? And then from that perspective, you can then still go after your goals and dreams and kind of separate these goals and dreams from expectations. Because I think at the moment we're confusing the two, and I think that's causing so many distractions today.
What happens to people who do kind of base things on external validation?
Yeah, at the moment, there's kind of 5 extrinsic motivations that are kind of sabotaging our perspective, almost as a human race. The first one's money. Once I make that kind of money, then I'll be enough. Then second one's materialism. Once I get that car, that house, that handbag, then I'll be worthy. Third one's corporate status. Once I get that promotion. Or fourth one is social status. But the fifth one is this craving recognition. And it's this constant caring, obsessing what you think about me rather than what I think about myself. And I can't control what Lee Sales thinks of Ben Crowe. And if I focus on that, I'll lose my authenticity, which is kind of my only competitive advantage on this planet, right? Because there's only one me. And I think at the moment, we're so obsessing and caring what people are thinking about us. We call it FOPO, this fear of other people's opinions, rather than what I think about myself and what I say to myself. And if we can create that separation, and it's almost like having this courage to be disliked.
Humans, I guess, have a natural instinct to be liked. How do you get to a point where you don't care, what someone thinks of you?
You like yourself first. Yeah, I think to own your story is really to find your authenticity and start to love yourself unconditionally. You don't put conditions on your self-worth, and you celebrate your imperfections rather than berate them, because as humans, we're really good at saying what we're not good enough, smart enough, loved, and we kind of suck at saying what we are, right? I am worthy, I am strong, I am brave, and I am enough. And we don't realise that our life story is not our life, it's just our story. And we're the authors of it, right? We are the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. But we've got this reptilian brain with a negative bias. It's like Velcro for negative and Teflon for positive. So if you can create a set of words and mantras and affirmations that reminds you of who you are, but this time written by your inner fan, not your inner critic, that's when you've got the courage to be disliked, because you love yourself unconditionally. You still care about others, because we're hardwired to connect to others, to help others, to serve others. It gives life meaning, yeah. But we just don't attach our self-worth on what people think about us. And it's not easy, right? But it's just really, really necessary to create that separation.
So if somebody looked at Ash Barty and they wanted to apply lessons from how she's conducted herself, what are the lessons that a regular person can draw?
Yeah, great question. So Ash went on a journey to answer 2 questions. Who am I and what do I want? And you've got to answer them in that order, because you can't work out what you want until you work out who you are. Most of us don't want to do that, because we don't want to do that self-reflection and introspection thing. So we put the mask and the armour on and we go external rather than internal. To Ash's credit, she had the courage to go internal and make sense of her story. And along the way, she was able to separate her self-worth from whether she wins or loses a game of tennis. She realises that playing tennis is what she does, but it's not who she is. And she was able to celebrate her imperfections rather than berate them, which is what most of us do. And she was able to separate her goals and dreams, which she publicly put out in the universe, and separate them from expectations. Most of us confuse the two. So I don't want to put these goals and dreams because I don't want to prove that I'm a loser if I don't achieve them. But when you can realise that the only expectation over you is to focus on the things you can control and the best version of you, then you can put these goals and dreams out in the universe, and then you go after them.
So give me an example of the difference between a goal and an expectation.
Yeah, so the goal might be to win a Grand Slam, yeah? The expectation, on the other hand, is to focus on the things you can control in achieving that goal or that process. Most people believe that confidence comes from results. It means when you're winning, confidence is high. When you're losing, confidence tanks, but you can't have confidence from results because you can't control results, because you can't control the things you can't control. The only thing you can control, and the only expectation over anyone on the planet, is to focus on two things. Right? The one they can control, and the best version of themselves. From a mindset point of view, they create their A game. And you focus on those two things, the big things will take care of themselves. And the other one, which is more transformational, is just accepting ourselves. Because if we can just accept ourselves unconditionally, this is who I am, this is what I look like, these are the cards I've been dealt, then I can have confidence in myself and confidence in others as my comrade rather than my competitor, and then I can contribute to someone's happiness. But if I can't accept myself unconditionally, if I put conditions on my self-worth, if, when, then sort of thing, then I won't have confidence, and then I'll let all this interference into my life, and I'll start comparing myself against you or others. I'll start judging myself, and when we start comparing and judging, this is when all this negative interference comes in. So that's the key reason, difference between goals and expectations.
This year in Australia, we've seen a huge public outpouring of affection for two really well-known athletes. One was Ash Barty, and the other was the late Shane Warne, when we saw all that love pour out around the time of his death.
Yeah.
What do you think it was about those two people that made such a connection with the public?
Their intrinsic love to compete, have fun and play, without a doubt, right? Which is how I define an athlete, really. But they found the absolute, both of them are incredible competitors, probably more than I've ever seen of any other athletes that I've worked with. But finding the joy and having fun and celebrating the journey, right? And while they might have had all these external kind of distractions or controversies and so forth going along, they always found the joy and the camaraderie to play as a team. And Ash always says we, not I. And Shane was very similar. And they're also they're incredibly loving, caring people. You know, and both of them, in my opinion, probably two of the most generous people that I've ever known. They've stayed true to who they are, or their values or their goals or their beliefs. Yeah, and as I said, authenticity is the one last truly competitive advantage for all of us, because there's only one you, right? So if you can stay true to that, but it takes a lot of courage and bravery to always act in accordance with the convictions of what you stand for and chance the consequences. And they're both human, right? So they're imperfect and they fall down, they're going to get distracted. But for the most part, they're focusing on that authenticity. And that's what I mean by owning your story, so to speak, yeah.
Ben Crowe, it's been great to meet you. Thank you.
Pleasure, Lee.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.